Tax changes will force us to cut staff, says UK hospitality companies. I'm going to read into this more from The Guardian, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Guardian with the headline: Next tax changes will force us to cut staff, says UK hospitality companies. 2/3 of businesses surveyed by the trade body says jobs will go as they urge government to delay changes. Now, before we read into this, I did actually try to have a look to see if this is the case, and quite a lot of outlets are reporting the same thing here. Now, whether or not this will come to fruition is obviously we'll have to wait and see. But I do think that there will be significant changes from businesses as they go forward with the changes to these taxes. Now, obviously, I'm not a tax expert, as many of you who watch my channel know. What I do care about is job protection, job guarantees, job security. And one of the problems that we've have here is that we are in a cost of living crisis, and we know that people aren't getting enough money in their pockets. Obviously the increase in minimum wage is obviously helping, but in turn it's not really making much of a difference when bills for everything else is going up. And these jobs really do matter to people. They really are life and death, to some of these people. And the hospitality sector is not a sector that is considered vital to people. Obviously, basic necessity needs are the main factor, but hospitality obviously is something that is a luxury. It's something that you will go out and make the most of. It's not something like as priority as like buying yourself clothes, food, whatever you need for your work preferences, sort of thing. But it is still an important part of the industry, of course. So to see that potential staff cuts could come is quite devastating, because we want businesses to do well. We want people to spend money. We want to drive the economy. We want to growth, as they always say. But it needs to be done in such a way that workers and people are protected. But at the same time, you got to look after businesses as well. But I also have this premise that a lot of businesses have been, especially the high earner businesses. And now I can't speak for all businesses, but a lot of high earner businesses, a lot of them are a lot more greedy now, because a lot of them have been able to take advantage of certain aspects that the Conservatives have implemented over the last 14 years. That have made things better. That have made things better for them. But time will tell, like I said, if we'll see things better for businesses and for people. So more than 2/3 of hospitality business will be reducing staffing as a result of the tax changes taking effect in April, according to research by industry bodiescalling on the government to delay the changes. The survey of pubs, bars, restaurants and hotels have found that 70% expected to cut back on employment levels because of the higher costs and reduction in rate reliefs announced in last autumn's budget. Of the businesses polled by the British Beer and Pub Association, the British Institute of Innkeeping, Hospitality, Ulster and UKHospitality, 60% said they would cancel planned investments as a result of the increased expenses. That's really frustrating. If those who are planning the increase in investment and whatnot, that's not ideal. But having said that, we do know that since the government have come into power, there's been records amount of investment. They've talked a lot about a lot of money coming in to the UK economy as well. The trade bodies are urging the government to postpone the changes to employer national insurance contribution. This is a big factor to avoid the immediate impact on investment and jobs and allow the hospitality industry to continue contributing to economic growth. Yeah, so the main sticking point is obviously the increase to employers' national insurance contribution. This is the biggest headache here. I don't think this was necessary by the Chancellor to do so. I think their money could have been raised elsewhere, such as the rich and the wealthy. I still stand by that position, whether you agree or disagree. I think we could have avoided this increase here, because like it says with this headline, like, even though that the increase in national insurance contributions to employer doesn't necessarily guarantee job losses, it does force companies to make difficult decisions about what they're going to do to recoup, to pay their part of it. Now, yes, some small businesses are unaffected by the change to this, but it depends on the size of the business, of course. Medium and larger businesses obviously will be paying the share, but they have to make difficult choices, whether it is less items on their shelf, whether it is, as we see here, less staff, maybe increasing the prices of their products. Because at the end of the day, for them, it's about the profit, about the bottom line, and they want to maintain that bottom line no matter what. So somewhere the cost has to become, and the businesses very rarely are going to just swallow up the increase in this and just take it on board. They're not going to do that. They're going to pass the buck on somewhere, shape or form, whether it's through staff, whether it's through increases in prices, whether it is less workers or employees. That's what they will do. The government's announced in October's a budget that in April will raise the employers' NIC to 15%, while also lowering the threshold at which contributors are due to 5,000 from 9,100, and in addition, the national minimum wage will rise by 6.7% to £12.21 an hour from April. It's a good step in the right direction, but like I've said, it's not the level it needs to be. Now, some public sector workers are getting as much as £15, but even that is still not enough for them. It's still not enough for a living, especially if you look at the costs it's going to be for your water bills. Like, you cannot live on your own. You have to have a partner, and even with a partner and you're both having decent jobs, it's still a struggle out there to pay all your bills. It's insane. The measure is ultimately expected to raise £25 billion a year, which Minister says is needed to restore crumbling public services, but have drawn criticism from a string of large businesses, including retailers and hospitality companies, who said they would be forced to cut jobs and raise prices. At a time when hospitality has been one of the top contributors to economic growth, the last thing the government should be doing is piling on costs that will impact the employment and cut off our ability to grow. Trade body said in a statement. They added that hospitality businesses are clear that a failure to delay the changes to the NIC threshold would have an impact on communities, employees and supply chains. They have warned about potential lost earnings, lost jobs, reduced trading hours and in some cases business failures. The trade body said. This would mean that the loss of essential community hubs that would otherwise drive local economy and create jobs. Almost a third of 29% of businesses surveyed in January, representing more than 8,000 sites, said they would reduce trading hours as a result of the extra costs, and 25% said they had no cash reserves left, a rise of 6 percentage points from 3 months earlier. 15% of respondents reported that they would have to close at least one site in order to keep operating. The warning comes as separate research shows that the average advertised salary in the UK climbed to almost $41,000 in January. The increase in average wage was fueled by significant increases in sectors including manufacturing, maintenance and retail, according to the job site Azuna, while large annual pay rises are also reported in logistics, customer service and domesticated help and cleaning. Job vacancies slid further in January, the report found, reaching just under 830,000 in January, the lowest figure on record for the month since 2021. Last week's figures from the Office of National Statistics showed that pay grew sharply in the final quarter of 2024, and unemployment remained unchanged, despite warnings from the business that Rachel Reev's autumn budget would lead to job losses. The rise in average salaries reflecting the increase in competition for talent in key sectors, even as overall hiring shows, says Andrew Hunter, co-founder of Azuna. For job seekers, this means adapting to a more competitive landscape, while for employers, attracting and retaining talent remains a challenge. Yeah, that's going to be a challenge for sure. We also do know that there is there is still obviously requirements in certain sectors of our economy where we need workers abroad to plug the gaps, because we don't have the workforce here in the UK to do that. So if in all seriousness want to get out of this cost of living crisis at some point, if we want to grow the economy, if we want to have better public services, better things, there are going to be sacrifices and there are going to be difficult decisions that have to be made. Obviously, I'm not happy whenever anybody loses their job or when any businesses has to make cutbacks. And I understand that the Chancellor has to make difficult decisions. But of course, rightfully so, and as we should question whether the Chancellor is doing the right thing here. And I do question this decision, and I do think that the more wealthiest in society can pay more for a lot of the things that the government needs. I really, really do. And it is, like a lot of things that I have said on this channel, it is a political choice. It is a political choice that they have chosen to take this path. Now, whether this in the long term will benefit us remains to be seen. But I do think, yeah, there will be some people losing their jobs, or opportunities that were going to come for some people will not be there. And for some businesses, it may be a case of, rather than ramping up their production, they may keep it the same for the time being. But what do you guys honestly think? What do you guys make about the tax changes? What do you guys make about UK hospitality in general? How do you think it's doing in the UK in particular, or specifically maybe where you are? Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comments section below. Now, if you found this video informative or helpful in any way to you, hit that like button, share across social media, and subscribe if you haven't already, because it really does help support the channel. Check out the Patreon and Rumble links down below as well. And if you want to, click that join button to join the YouTube membership for as little as 99p to support the work that I do. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.